You're not stuck because you're broken. You're stuck because your system is still guarding a moment it never got to complete. And that moment lives before words. Let me explain. Not all beliefs are created equal. And the ones that shape your identity, the ones that decide how safe it is to be seen, to speak, to succeed, those aren't mindset beliefs. They are survival beliefs. They were formed when you were too young to think them into existence. They were felt in the body, in silence, in stress, and most importantly, alone. I call them felt beliefs. This is what most belief change methods miss completely. They keep trying to speak to your mind when the mind wasn't even present. The logical mind wasn't present at the time those beliefs were made. Let me give you a real example. I worked with a client, a wellness coach. She has done the work. She'd seen the energy healers, the light workers, mindset coaches. She had rituals, mantras, retreats, business strategies. But inside, she felt hollow. She said, it's like I'm performing some healed version of myself and it feels fake. She had health issues, exhaustion, and under all of that, a silent pressure to be perfectly aligned for her clients. Like she couldn't have doubt or fatigue or be confused. She basically couldn't be a human. Like the only way to serve others was to be this internally enlightened, ever-floating being. And that pressure, it was eating her life. So she came to me saying, I know there is a deeper problem, but I can't find it. So she wanted a clear issue to understand and remove it. Sort of this is it moment. But what we found was something else entirely. It wasn't a thought, it was a sensation, a tight throat, a deep nausea that came from deep of her system. No words. It came from a moment buried so deep she could only describe it as a pre-memory. 18 months old, alone, crying with no one coming. And the belief that formed in that moment was not logical, it was biological. Something along the line, if I need something, I become too much. I become too much for my parents. This belief didn't live in her logical mind, it lived in her nervous system. And that's why all the mental tool failed. Because the problem wasn't in her thoughts, it was in her felt sense of safety. And this is what I want you to understand. Those core identity beliefs were formed in two specific conditions. Number one, pre-verbal overwhelm, means before words. When our brain wasn't making meaning, it was just making survival maps. Two, aloneness, when there was no one there to help you co-regulate what was happening inside you. So when you try to heal those beliefs with meditation apps or manifestation methods, your system shuts the door because it remembers going that deep alone is dangerous. And that resistance you feel, that frustration, that's not failure. That's wisdom. Your system is protecting you the best way it knows how. That's why my approach is different. Not because I offer miracles, not because but because I respect the intelligence of your survival system and I know how to speak its language. And I work in two ways to cater. One way, I listen to your unconscious through the body, the way your face speaks, those micro expressions, how your breath changes, the words you skip or rush through. Your system gives away more than your words ever could. And when we tune into that, we don't chase problems, we reveal the truth. The second way, I co-regulate with your nervous system. This isn't therapy from neck up. This is full body attunement. Your system learned that being alone was dangerous, right? So we build new safety together with presence, not pressure. This skill took me years to develop, not just through training, but through my own healing from complex trauma and working with clients' deep stress states. I believe this work, and I know this to be true. What you're dealing with now, anxiety, lying, panic, burnout, overthinking, they're not character flaws. They're brilliant solutions to an old problem. So if you had an explosive parents, for example, lying could become your shield. If your needs were unmet, overgiving becomes your currency for love. If you were unseen, performing became your proof of worth. And now you're exhausted because you're still using outdated survival software to run your adult life. We don't fix that by overriding it. We don't shame it. We don't bypass it. We meet it. We listen. We negotiate. We bring your system up to date. And yes, we transform. So next time you feel frustrated because that Become Super Conscious in 30 Days course didn't work, remember this. You're not behind, you're not unhealable, you're not failing at wellness. You just have Wi-Fi in a concrete bunker and no generic method is getting through. But the good news is there is a way and it starts by going deeper, not louder. This work isn't about fixing you. It's about helping you hear what's already been waiting to be witnessed. Follow along if you're ready to work at the level where change actually happens, where beliefs were born and where you finally get to become more than you're coping.